Lady wants women to support government in restoring peace in the country. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Defense of Lake Chad Commission restates commitment to fight insurgency in the sub-region. Dwindling oil prices, Nigeria puts in place plan to absorb any shock. Plus, Ivory Coast to begin exportation of rice by 2018. Hello, it's my pleasure to welcome you to NTA International News this hour. I'm Nancy Godiangunihu presenting. We begin from gender issues. Nigerian women have been challenged to register in the ongoing voter registration exercise and ensure that their vote counts come 2015 general elections. The First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, made the appeal during the flag-off of distribution of empowerment items to Oyo State women at the Lekon Salami Stadium, Ebado. She reiterated the need for women to support the government in restoring peace in the country, which must start from the individual home. The First Lady spoke on the purpose of the program. The Special Assistant to the President on Millennium Development Goals, MDG's Precious Benuel, who represented President Jonathan, enumerated the efforts of the government in agricultural sector to better the lives of women, which is part of transformation agenda of the present administration. She encouraged the beneficiaries to make judicious use of the items. The Minister of State, Federal Capital Territory, Olajumoke Akinjide, commended President Jonathan for increasing the seats of women in the nation's cabinet. Also, wife of Oyo State Governor Florence Ajumobi extolled the First Lady's passion for the development of Nigerian women. Over 150 women who are less privileged benefited from the empowerment programs and items ranging from sewing machines, hairdressing machines, food items, and cash. And still talking gender, participants at the Women and Girls Summit are advocating for comprehensive education for the girl child that guarantees empowerment, entrepreneur, and computer literacy. Talati Ezrike reports.
Challenges facing the girl child, especially in the areas of education and poverty, many say can be tackled through entrepreneurial skills for economic empowerment.
We should begin to teach them to have the spirit of entrepreneurship. Not to wait when you graduate, you're going to get a white-collar job, but to think originally that you can create something.
I heard of the 9-year-old girl who is making earrings. It's very, I thank God for her because she has gotten an accusation and she's making use of it.
Another area of emphasis for the girl child is for holistic capacity building and advancement in information and communication technology.
I have trained 270 girls on how to build blogs, and most of these girls are from the grassroots area.
We consider it necessary that every girl child must be empowered in ICT skills.
It is to guarantee a sustainable developmental process for the girl child that the Maiden Women and Girls Summit is reawakening commitment and advocacy to get it right. Major concerns are for provision of safe and secured environment, building the girl child innovative spirit, and the pursuit of right values.
We want to say, yes, let us keep those aspects of our culture that are good, those things that make us who we are. Let us separate them out from what is actually crime.
The child must be educated, because if a 9-year-old has a talent, if she's not educated, all you have done is you made her vulnerable.
Let's not stand by and watch somebody do something unjust, because we know this is wrong, but we just say, no wahala. This is a Hausa word. No wahala. That's not right.
Participants are therefore calling for new thinking, action, policies and programs to empower the girl child to address challenges of the 21st century so as to compete favorably with her counterpart globally. In Abuja, Talat Ezerike, NTA News.
And moving on to security matters, Ministers of Foreign Affairs and Defense of the Lake Chad Basin Commission and the Republic of Benin have restated their commitment towards the development of contingents by member states within their national borders by November the 1st, 2014. They also agreed to put in place a legal framework for military operations against Boko Haram insurgents and the sub-region. Correspondent Phoebe Kaburuk reports that this is the fallout of the meeting convened in Abuja, Nigeria's capital.
Chaired by Nigeria, the meeting was basically to assess the security situation and arrive at common strategies in the fight against terrorism caused by Boko Haram sect in the sub-region. While expressing deep regrets over the continuous atrocities against civilian population and security forces and its neighbors, member states pledged their commitment for intelligence sharing in the battle against insurgency. Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Bashir Aminu Wali, who stated member states' position at the end of their closed-door session, underscores the need for greater cooperation and collaboration among governments on the need to reinforce their operational capabilities.
The ministers deliberated on the draft common resolution to the United Nations Security Council and the African Union. In this regard, the ministers requested the Republic of Niger to introduce the draft resolution to the Peace and Security Council of the African Union, while the Republic of Chad and the Federal Republic of Nigeria should introduce the resolution to the United Nations Security Council.
Consequently, permanent representatives of member states in New York and their ambassadors in Addis Ababa have been directed to hold consultations with a view to ensuring the adoption of the resolutions by the United Nations Security Council and the African Union. 4 countries of Niger, Cameroon, Chad, and Nigeria bordering the Lake Chad make up the Lake Chad Basin Commission, which was created in 1964 to regulate and control the use of water and other natural resources of member states, among other aims. Phoebe Kabruk, NTA News.
On the legal front, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mohammed Adoke, has advocated the setting up of special courts to entertain petitions against violators of environmental laws in Nigeria. This was during a 2-day sensitization workshop for judges and other law officers on environmental standards and regulations Environment Agency, NESRA. Mia Ogidi was there for NTA News.
Consequent upon climate change and health hazards, it is time to do away with lip service in protecting the environment, but a moment for collective action where the rule of law comes to take its full course for offenders. This gathering of judges at the Federal High Court of Nigeria, security agencies and officials of NESRA is therefore aimed at exploring best options for effective enforcement of regulations, standards, and the speedy dispensation of environmental justice.
Saying there should be an environment court, just like we have specialized courts for labor and labor-related matters, which the National Industrial Court is adjudicating upon.
Though setting up of special environmental courts is a one step forward, the needed manpower to take charge of these courts was, however, questioned.
Well, can we fund it? And you are talking about the whole population of judges in Nigeria. There are only 1,008. Is that good enough?
In our own law, the court of jurisdiction is the Federal High Court. So let us take on those who are supposed to attend to our cases. After we have taken them on board, they now understand. Then we now go on to maybe state high courts, then the magistrate courts, and all those other ones.
Participants were drawn from federal high courts across the nation, as well as security agencies who are expected to enforce the environmental laws in their areas of jurisdiction. In Abuja, Mia Ogidi, NTA News.
And in a move to promote integrity and transparency within the judiciary to truly be the last hope of the common man, staff of the judiciary across the country have converged on Abuja for a 5-day seminar organized by the National Judicial Institute, NTI. Correspondent Aliyu Tuku reports.
The seminar, which is for chief registrars, secretaries of Judicial Service Commission, directors Sharia Court, area courts, and customary court inspectors, is focusing on information and communication technology. Chief Justice of Nigeria, represented by Justice Mukhtar Komasi of the Supreme Court, said, since advancement in technology has changed the way information is provided, processed, and exchanged in the court, the staff must enhance their productivity and administrative duties.
You must, in your own interest, shun corruption in all its ramifications.
Administrator of the institute said the workshop will not only assist staff on improving their skills, but also adjust to changes in societal expectations of a responsive judiciary.
It needs to be transparent and objective.
The workshop will also discuss the implications of the Freedom of Information Act 2011 in an effort to engender transparency in the judiciary. Aliu Tukur, NTA News.
Collection of accurate data is key to the efforts to reducing neonatal deaths in Nigeria. This was the view of resource persons at the 2014 Nigeria Verbal and Social Autopsy Survey, VASA, as they equip participants with the prerequisite knowledge that will guide them in carrying out their assignments. Mujanatu Adam Said reports that the National Population Commission, in collaboration with other development partners, sponsored the training with participants drawn from the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja.
Nigeria has in the past few years experienced worsening situation on child mortality and neonatal deaths. Most neonatal and young child deaths occurred in developing countries in Africa and Asia. However, few data are available on the biological causes or behavioral and social determinants of these deaths. Experts globally are of the view that the common causes of neonatal deaths include diarrhea, malaria, meningitis, septicemia, pneumonia, preterm and other severe infection in children below age 5.
If children of that tender age, first 29 days, if they die, this is a very serious country. We ought to find out why does that happen. So this study addresses that problem. Why does it happen? What's the cause of all this?
It is against this background that these stakeholders from within and outside the country are brainstorming on how best to reduce the death of children in Nigeria.
We want to try as much as possible to get the correct data in the feed so that this data will be of a good one and it will help the policy maker to plan for our mothers and our children, because we don't want our children and mothers to be dying.
Despite the fact that the government is trying, we cannot say anything because our women, children are dying every day.
As I go out to the field, I think what I need to do is to get quality data, not to falsify the data.
We must know the actual respondent, the best respondent to interview. That is the household we are to go.
The Verbal and Social Autopsy Survey, VASA, is the first of its kind in Nigeria. Murjanatu Adam Said, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria. We earlier informed you that Nigeria's First Lady has advised women to support government in restoring peace in the country. You also heard that Ministers of Foreign Affairs and Defense of Lake Chad Commission and Republic of Benin have restated commitment to fighting insurgency in the sub-region. Still to come on the news, Nigeria puts in place plans to absorb any shock from dwindling oil prices. Details in a moment.
Yakubu Gowon is 80. The National Planning Committee for the 80th birthday celebration of General Yakubu Gowon invites the general public to a lecture in honor of General Dr. Yakubu Gowon. Keynote speaker, His Excellency, Ambassador Dr. George Fraser, Chairman and CEO FraserNet Incorporated, an award-winning publisher and authority on economic and global development. Theme, that we may live together in peace and prosperity. A celebration of the leadership excellence of General Dr. Yakubu Gowon. Date, Friday 17th October 2014. Time 10 a.m. Venue International Conference Center Abuja. Other activities include a special banquet dinner in honor of General Gowon. Date 18th October 2014. Venue the International Conference Center Abuja. Time 6 p.m. A special Thanksgiving service. Date 19th October 2014. Time 4 p.m. Venue National Christian Center Abuja. Announcer Professor Jerry Gana, Chairman Planning Committee. Celebrating a living legend at 80.
Shop
P has ensured the reconstruction of the Abuja-Lokoja Road and the East-West Road in Port Harcourt.
The standard gauge rail tracks from Abuja to Kaduna and Lagos to Kano indicates that our trains are coming back.
The second Niger Bridge in the southeast and the local Oweto Bridge in the north-central are in progress, thanks to Shaw P.
Shaw P's mass transit program has made transportation easier for Nigerians.
Shaw P has rehabilitated over 1,000 health centers across Nigeria.
Shaw P has provided mama kits to pregnant women, and polio is on the verge of eradication.
Shaw P has also ensured the provision of social amenities and through its various training programs for young people guarantees a better future.
Shaw P, delivering service with integrity.
Thank you for being there. Nigeria has put in place contingency plan to absorb any shock that may arise from dwindling oil prices. The coordinating minister of the Nigerian economy, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, made this known at a joint media briefing with the central bank governor on the gains of the IMF World Bank Group meetings in Washington, D.C. Correspondent Bosede Adebayo has details.
Nigeria's outing at the International Monetary Fund World Bank Group annual meetings was impressive, given her success story in containing Ebola, which was widely talked about at the various sessions where the challenge of Ebola in the West African sub-region was mentioned. And talking about other measures to sustain the current economic growth, the Minister of Finance, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, at a news briefing, said the right mix of policies remains the strategy.
We are not planning to go to the IMF for anybody to get resources at this moment. That is the pride we've had. Ever since we've been managing this economy, we've not had to do that. There are no plans. Now, if you don't want to do that, what else would you want to have to do? You have to look at your revenue and expenditure side to see how you prepare. At least we'll be able to increase our revenues, but actually it's helped us because during the time when quantities were a little lower, because we ramped up on non-oil revenue collection.
The central bank governor, Godwin Emefiele, said Nigeria will strengthen the regulatory environment to put in check some of the identified risks.
But there are certain risks that have been identified. Risks that are particularly in the financial system, risks that means that we need to do a lot more, particularly in ensuring that we continue to sustain the financial system stability that we have worked very hard to achieve.
And talking globally, the world is in a very uncertain mood, but the prospect for the low-income countries looks bright. In Washington, D.C., the United States of America, Bosede Adebayo, NTA News.
TV industry players are at the 2014 TV and Entertainment Content Market Festival in Cannes, France, for 4 days. The event provides a platform for media personnel to discover and learn future trends, as well as network for entertainment. Elizabeth Banu reports that this is the NTA's first appearance at the event, which has held since 1984.
This is MIPCOM 2014. It is the nerve center for TV and entertainment content market. This is where exhibitors get the kind of visibility they need to get noticed, get talking to prospective investors, and make the kind of sale they expect. The 4-day event, which attracted more than 13,500 participants from across the world, is one of the most renowned TV and entertainment fairs in France. It provides a forum where media practitioners share ideas, discover future trends, and trade content rights on a global level. At a press briefing to introduce MIPCON 2014, Lauren Gerard, Director of Television Division RITMIDEM, urged participants to take advantage of the festival and sharpen their industry knowledge. NTA's Director General, Shola Omoli, is one of the resource persons at the film festival. This is the first time NTA is taking part in this festival, or what are your expectations?
Well, this is a very important global film and television festival. It's an opportunity for us to meet content providers, to see what they have to offer. It's also an opportunity for us as Nigerian Television Authority to show the world what we have to offer in terms of content. So it's an opportunity to develop relationships, intellectual relationships, content relationships, marketing opportunities, so that we can receive from the world and the world can also receive from us. It's an opportunity to extend Nigeria to the rest of the world via television. It's the first time, as you said, that we're coming here, but we ought to try to make it a little bigger as we go forward.
MIPCOM has provided 30 years of the world's entertainment content market. From Cannes in France, I'm Elizabeth Banu, NTA News.
Ivory Coast targets exportation of rice in 2018. Israelis in Jerusalem criticized British lawmakers' passage of a non-binding motion in Palestinian state, and Sudanese UN medical officer dies in German hospital despite intensive care. Details with Uche Nwizu.
Ivory Coast government officials say the country aims to become the rice bowl of West Africa as it continues production and processing of the regional staple food, targeting to begin exports in 2018, first generating more than 1 million jobs. And on the second day of sentence hearing of South African athletes Oscar Pistorius, a probation officer said he could be placed in danger if sent to prison due to his disability. Meanwhile, Israelis have dismissed a British parliament decision to recognize Palestine as a state.
It's a big mistake, historical mistake like they made the past years, that they lost a lot of countries. They're going to lose the relationship with Israel as well.
It's a premature decision. It may be an inevitable consequence of this process, but it's not something that can be decided by a foreign government.
The British lawmakers on Monday voted in favor of the notion, which they believe will not alter government policy, but a symbolic value as Palestinians pursue international recognition. Turning to health, a Sudanese UN medical official who contracted Ebola while working in Liberia has died in a German hospital where he was receiving treatments. In the meantime, a doctor who is treating the Spanish nurse who got infected with the virus said she is recovering gracefully, and 15 other people are still in quarantine, though not yet diagnosed with the disease. Uche Nwizu, NTA News.
President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan commiserates with Governor Adams Oshomole and the people of Edo State on the death of prominent Nigerian administrator, educationist, and elder statesman Chief Tayo Akpata. Chief Akpata's widow, Chief Mrs. Olabisi Akpata, his children, grandchildren, and other relatives, as they mourn their beloved husband, father, and grandfather, the President urges them to take solace in the memory of Chief Akpata's long, successful, and very fulfilled life in the service of his family, community, state, and country. President Jonathan believes that Nigeria will greatly miss the astute administrator who made notable contributions to national development through his outstanding work in the country's public and private sectors in various capacities, including trustees and executive secretary of the defunct Petroleum Trust Fund, PTF. He prays that God Almighty will give Chief Akpata's family, friends, associates, and community the fortitude to bear his loss and grant his soul eternal repose. On the sports scene, Super Eagles of Nigeria will tomorrow, Wednesday, play their second leg of the 2015 AFCON qualifier against Sudan. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday went round town to sample the opinions of football enthusiasts on the match.
We look at the last match that was played between Nigeria and Sudan. Definitely, they don't have any game plan.
For us to only garner 1 point in 3 matches is very, very disappointing.
It makes me feel sad. As a defending champion, we need to, if not the first position, we are supposed to be at the second.
These are some of the reactions from football followers as they say the Super Eagles may not qualify for the Nations Cup unless they change their tactics.
Go through a research and then plan it very well, go through his table and look at all the mathematics and do everything possible, because football is all about possibilities. I don't care about Congo, I don't care about South Africa, all I care about is Nigeria.
Some football enthusiasts blame the coach selection and refusal to invite some of Nigerian players who are currently doing well in their various clubs.
so-called problem with the people like Ikeuche, Sondemba, I think he should sheath his sword and find a way to call those players back.
I mean, Keshi should drop aside every personal feelings or ill feeling he has with those players, and then for the sake of the national interest, and bring them to come and play for the country.
But Coach Stephen Keshi says the door is closed to some players, no matter their level of performance.
Play for this country for 20-something years. Nobody begged us to play. We were begging to play. So please, let it be the end today. Don't ask me about Uche.
Super Eagles lost 1-0 during the first leg in Khartoum, Sudan. The team is currently at the bottom of the table with 1 point. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
Weather update is next, and highlight is on major city temperatures of Nigeria and the world. Thank you for watching.